In 2003, the idea sounded almost ridiculous. Build an electric car company in an industry dominated by some of the most powerful manufacturers on Earth. No gasoline engine, no century of manufacturing experience, no enormous dealer network, and almost nobody believed electric cars could be exciting. At the time, many people imagined an electric vehicle as something slow, small, strange-looking, and limited. Definitely not something you would dream about owning. Then a small American company appeared with a completely different idea. What if an electric car could be fast? What if it could be beautiful? What if technology could transform the car from a mostly mechanical machine into something that felt increasingly like a computer on wheels? That company was Tesla. Today, the name Tesla is recognized around the world, but the company we know today didn't appear overnight. Its history is filled with ambitious ideas, technical problems, leadership battles, production disasters, financial danger, unexpected breakthroughs, controversies, and enormous risks. And there's something else we need to clear up immediately. Ask many people who founded Tesla, and they'll probably answer Elon Musk. But the real story is more complicated. Tesla was founded in 2003 by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. Elon Musk became involved later as a major early investor and chairman before eventually becoming CEO. That distinction matters because this isn't simply the story of one famous billionaire. It's the story of a company built by founders, engineers, designers, investors, factory workers, executives, and thousands of people trying to solve problems that traditional car companies had struggled to solve economically at scale. And for a while, Tesla came surprisingly close to disappearing. Before the Model S, before the Model 3, before Gigafactories, before millions of vehicles, there was a tiny company trying to prove one basic idea. An electric car didn't have to feel like a compromise. Hello, my amazing students. My name is Sarah, and today we're going to learn English through the incredible story of Tesla and how a risky startup helped push electric vehicles into the center of the global automobile industry. As we follow this story, you'll naturally improve your English listening. Learn useful vocabulary related to business, technology, innovation, manufacturing, and risk. And practice understanding a real company story told in natural English. But we're going to do something slightly different today. Instead of squeezing Tesla's complicated history into the same structure we use every time, we're going to follow the story through 6 chapters, because Tesla's journey has several distinct turning points, and each one deserves room to breathe. Chapter number 1, Before Tesla Became Tesla. We'll travel back to the beginning, meet Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, and understand why starting an electric car company in 2003 was such a radical idea. Chapter number 2. Elon Musk enters the story. We'll see how Musk became Tesla's largest early investor and chairman, how his influence grew, and how internal leadership conflicts eventually changed the company. Chapter number 3. The Roadster and the Fight to Survive. Tesla will finally build its first car, but enormous costs, delays, and the financial crisis will push the company frighteningly close to failure. Chapter number 4. The Model S changes everything. We'll explore the vehicle that transformed Tesla's reputation and forced much of the automobile industry to take the company seriously. Chapter number 5. Model 3, Gigafactories, and explosive growth. Tesla will attempt something far more difficult than building expensive cars for wealthy buyers, manufacturing electric vehicles on a much larger scale. And that decision will create both extraordinary growth and extraordinary pressure. Then we'll finish with chapter number 6. Did Tesla really change the future of cars? We'll look beyond the hype. We'll examine Tesla's influence, its controversies, the intense competition it helped create, and the bigger question: did Tesla simply become a successful electric car company, or did it permanently change what the entire automobile industry believed was possible? Because Tesla's story isn't interesting simply because the company became valuable. It's interesting because it shows what happens when an ambitious idea collides with reality. An idea can sound brilliant, but then you have to manufacture it, finance it, sell it, improve it, survive your mistakes, and convince millions of people that the future you're describing is better than the world they already know. In 2003, Tesla had none of the power it would later gain. It had no Model S, no Model 3, no worldwide charging network, no gigafactories. It barely had a company, just an idea, a tiny group of people, and a belief that electric cars deserved another chance. And that's exactly where our story begins. Let's go back to chapter number 1, before Tesla became Tesla. Before we start, can I ask you one question? A year from now, will your English be better than it is today, or will you still be saying, "I'll start next week"? The truth is, most people don't fail because English is difficult. They fail because they never truly commit to it. That's why, for a limited time, I've reduced the price of the Native Flow English coaching experience to just $5. Not because it's worth only $5, but because I don't want money to be the reason you never start. For less than the price of a coffee, you can begin building a skill that can stay with you for the rest of your life. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Click the link in the description. Join us today, and I'll see you inside. Now, let's begin today's lesson. Chapter number 1, before Tesla became Tesla. To understand Tesla's beginning, we need to go back to 2003. At that time, electric cars had a serious image problem. Most drivers associated them with limited range, slow performance, and strange designs. Gasoline cars dominated the roads, and the world's largest automakers had spent decades perfecting them. Starting a new car company was already extremely difficult. Starting an electric car company seemed even crazier. But two entrepreneurs, Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, saw an opportunity. They believed battery technology was improving quickly enough to make a different kind of electric vehicle possible. Their idea wasn't to begin with a cheap family car. They wanted to start with something exciting, a premium electric sports car, a vehicle that could prove electric didn't have to mean boring. In July 2003, they incorporated Tesla Motors. And yes, the name came from Nikola Tesla, the famous inventor and electrical engineer whose work helped shape modern electrical systems. But Eberhard and Tarpenning faced an enormous question. How do two entrepreneurs build an automobile company from almost nothing? Creating a car isn't like creating an app. You need batteries, motors, electronics, safety systems, suppliers, factories, engineers, and enormous amounts of money. So Tesla's early strategy was clever. Instead of designing every component of its first vehicle completely from scratch, the company planned to use an existing sports car platform as a starting point and combine it with an electric powertrain. The goal was to prove the concept first. If Tesla could build a desirable, high-performance electric car, perhaps it could later move toward more affordable vehicles. But Tesla needed funding. And this is where Elon Musk entered the story. In 2004, Musk led Tesla's first major investment round, putting millions of dollars of his own money into the young company and becoming chairman of its board. His arrival gave Tesla something desperately important: capital. But money alone couldn't guarantee success. Tesla still had to transform an ambitious idea into a real car that customers could actually drive. And that's where the difference between a vision and a business becomes clear. An idea can sound revolutionary in a presentation. Building it thousands of times, reliably, safely, and profitably is another challenge entirely. The young Tesla hadn't changed the automobile industry yet. It hadn't even delivered its first production car. But the pieces were beginning to come together. Two founders had identified an opportunity. A wealthy investor had joined them. Engineers were being recruited. And the company had chosen its first major mission: build an electric sports car capable of destroying the old stereotype that electric vehicles had to be slow and boring. That car would become the Tesla Roadster, but building it would prove far more difficult and far more expensive than Tesla expected. Chapter number 2, Elon Musk enters the story. In 2004, Tesla had an ambitious idea, but ambition doesn't build cars. Money does. Developing a completely new vehicle requires engineers, equipment, testing, suppliers, and years of work. Tesla needed serious investment if it wanted to survive. That's when Elon Musk became a major part of the story. Musk had already made significant money from technology companies, including his involvement with PayPal. Instead of simply protecting that wealth, he began investing heavily in ambitious projects. Tesla caught his attention. In 2004, Musk led Tesla's Series A investment round, personally investing about $6.35 million and becoming chairman of the company's board. Martin Eberhard remained CEO. This distinction is important. Musk didn't originally create Tesla by himself, but he became its largest early investor and soon had significant influence over the company's direction. And Musk had strong opinions about what Tesla should become. He didn't want the company to build electric cars that people bought simply because they were environmentally friendly. He wanted people to desire them because they were great cars: fast, beautiful, technologically advanced. That philosophy matched Tesla's plan for the Roadster. But as development continued, problems began appearing. Building an automobile turned out to be much harder than building a technology product. Costs increased. Engineering challenges became more complicated. Deadlines moved. The Roadster was based partly on the Lotus Elise, but Tesla couldn't simply put batteries inside an existing Lotus and call it finished. The electric powertrain required extensive engineering changes. Tesla was learning the automobile business while simultaneously trying to reinvent part of it. And pressure inside the company increased. Disagreements developed over costs, management, delays, and the direction of the Roadster program. Eventually, the relationship between Tesla's leadership and Eberhard deteriorated. In 2007, Eberhard stepped down as CEO. Tesla then went through a period of leadership changes. The story became messy. Eberhard later sued Musk and Tesla, and disagreements continued over how Tesla's early history should be described. A later legal settlement allowed several early figures, including Musk, to be referred to as Tesla co-founders. But the important point for our story is simpler. Tesla was changing. The small startup created by Eberhard and Tarpenning was becoming a company increasingly shaped by Musk's vision and influence. And soon, Musk would become much more than an investor and chairman. He would eventually take control as CEO. But before that happened, Tesla had to solve a much more urgent problem. It needed to deliver the car it had promised. The Roadster was supposed to prove that Tesla's entire idea could work. Instead, its development would push the young company toward one of the most dangerous moments in its history. Chapter number 3. The Roadster and the Fight to Survive. Tesla had attracted investors. It had ambitious engineers. And it had promised something the automobile world wasn't used to seeing: a fast, desirable electric sports car. Now came the difficult part: actually building it. The Tesla Roadster was developed using the Lotus Elise as an important starting point, but the finished vehicle required major changes. Tesla had to develop its own electric powertrain and battery system while solving difficult problems involving weight, safety, reliability, and manufacturing. One challenge was especially important: the battery. Instead of using one enormous battery cell, Tesla's pack used thousands of small lithium-ion cells. The approach offered impressive energy storage, but it also created complicated engineering and safety challenges. Tesla needed to manage temperature and ensure that thousands of cells could operate safely together. Then there was the transmission. Early plans for a two-speed transmission created serious reliability problems. Engineering changes took time, and time cost money. The Roadster was originally expected to cost roughly $100,000, but development expenses kept increasing. Delays frustrated customers who had already placed deposits. Inside Tesla, the financial pressure became frightening. Then, in 2008, the global financial crisis hit. Investment became harder to find. Car companies everywhere were suffering. For a young electric car startup already burning through cash, the timing could hardly have been worse. That same year, Elon Musk became Tesla's CEO. He invested more of his own money and pushed the company through aggressive cost-cutting. Employees lost their jobs, expenses were reduced, and Tesla desperately searched for enough financing to stay alive. According to Musk's later accounts, the company came extremely close to running out of money around Christmas 2008 before securing another financing round. Imagine that. Today, Tesla is one of the world's best-known automotive brands, but at one point, its future could have ended before most people had even heard its name. Yet the Roadster finally reached customers, and when people experienced it, something changed. This wasn't the slow electric vehicle many expected. The Roadster could accelerate rapidly and travel more than 200 miles on a charge under official testing. It demonstrated that lithium-ion batteries could power a serious performance car. Tesla hadn't solved every problem. The Roadster was expensive, production was limited, and the company was still financially vulnerable. But Tesla had proved something extremely valuable. An electric car could be exciting. Now came an even bigger challenge. Building a sports car for a relatively small number of wealthy customers was one thing. Building a practical premium sedan that could compete with established luxury manufacturers was something else entirely. Tesla's next major vehicle would have to prove that the Roadster wasn't just an interesting experiment. That vehicle would be the Model S, and it would change Tesla's story completely. Chapter number 4. The Model S changes everything. The Roadster had proved that an electric car could be fast, but Tesla still had a problem. A two-seat sports car costing more than $100,000 wasn't going to transform everyday transportation. Tesla needed something bigger, more practical, more comfortable, and capable of competing directly with premium gasoline cars. That vehicle was the Model S. Tesla began delivering the Model S in 2012, and instead of looking like an experimental electric vehicle, it looked like a modern luxury sedan. It was spacious, quick, quiet, and perhaps most importantly, it felt different from traditional cars. Tesla placed a huge touchscreen in the center of the interior. Many vehicle controls that normally required physical buttons could be managed digitally. The company also embraced over-the-air software updates. That meant certain features could be improved or changed through software, without requiring the owner to visit a dealership. This helped Tesla create an unusual identity. It wasn't presenting itself only as an automobile manufacturer. It increasingly behaved like a technology company that built cars. Then came another major challenge: charging. Even an excellent electric car becomes difficult to use if drivers can't conveniently recharge it during long journeys. So Tesla began developing its supercharger network. These fast charging stations were designed to make long-distance electric travel more practical. The combination of longer driving range and dedicated fast charging helped address one of consumers' biggest concerns: range anxiety. The Model S began receiving major attention. In 2013, Motor Trend named it its Car of the Year. Reviews praised its acceleration, technology, and driving experience. Suddenly, Tesla wasn't merely asking people to support electric vehicles for environmental reasons. It had built a car that could compete on performance and desirability. That changed the conversation. Traditional automakers could see that electric vehicles might become serious competitors rather than niche products. But Tesla still faced a fundamental problem. Batteries were expensive. If the company wanted to eventually produce more affordable vehicles at much larger scale, it needed enormous quantities of battery cells. So Tesla began pursuing another ambitious idea, the Gigafactory. The first Gigafactory project in Nevada was announced in 2014, with Tesla partnering closely with Panasonic on battery production. The goal was scale. More batteries, lower costs, more cars. Tesla was no longer simply trying to prove that electric vehicles could work. It was trying to build the industrial system needed to produce them in enormous numbers, and that would lead Tesla toward its most ambitious challenge yet. A car designed not for a relatively small luxury market, but for hundreds of thousands and eventually millions of drivers. The Model 3. Tesla had survived. Then it had impressed the world. Now it wanted scale. Chapter number 5, Model 3, Gigafactories and Explosive Growth. By the middle of the 2010s, Tesla had accomplished something remarkable. The Roadster had proved electric cars could be exciting. The Model S had proved they could compete in the luxury market. But Elon Musk's larger ambition required something much harder: scale. Tesla needed a vehicle that far more people could afford. In 2016, the company unveiled the Model 3. Its announced starting price of around $35,000 attracted enormous attention. Hundreds of thousands of people placed reservations. It looked like Tesla had found its breakthrough mass-market product. But there was one enormous problem. Taking orders was easy compared with building the cars fast enough. When Model 3 production began in 2017, Tesla struggled to reach its manufacturing targets. Musk had pushed for extremely high levels of factory automation, but some processes proved more difficult to automate than expected. Production slowed, bottlenecks appeared. Tesla entered a period Musk famously described as production hell. The company had demand, but couldn't initially manufacture enough vehicles efficiently. Tesla responded aggressively. Production systems were redesigned. Workers operated under intense pressure. A temporary assembly line was even built under a large structure outside Tesla's Fremont factory to help increase output. Gradually, production improved, and the Model 3 became one of the world's most important electric cars. Tesla was no longer producing only relatively expensive vehicles in limited numbers. It was moving toward much larger volumes. At the same time, the company's manufacturing ambitions became global. Tesla opened Gigafactory Shanghai, which began delivering locally produced cars in 2019. Later came major factories near Berlin, Germany, and Austin, Texas. The company also expanded its battery, energy storage, and charging businesses. Then came another important vehicle, the Model Y. Built as a compact crossover related to the Model 3, the Model Y entered one of the world's most popular vehicle categories. It became enormously important to Tesla's sales growth. The numbers changed dramatically. Tesla delivered tens of thousands of vehicles annually in its earlier years. By the early 2020s, it was delivering well over 1 million vehicles per year. For a company that had nearly run out of money in 2008, the transformation was extraordinary. But explosive growth created new problems. Tesla faced criticism involving manufacturing quality, working conditions, pricing changes, and Musk's increasingly controversial public behavior. Competition also intensified. Traditional automakers invested billions in electric vehicles, while Chinese manufacturers expanded rapidly. Tesla had helped prove that electric cars could become mainstream. Now everyone wanted part of the market, and that created the final question in our story. After all the breakthroughs, the failures, the factories, and the controversy? What did Tesla actually change? Chapter number 6. Did Tesla really change the future of cars? So, after more than 2 decades of ambition, risk, innovation, and controversy, we arrive at the biggest question. Did Tesla actually change the future of the automobile industry? The answer isn't as simple as saying Tesla invented the electric car. It didn't. Electric vehicles existed long before Tesla, and many of the technologies used in modern EVs were developed by scientists, engineers, suppliers, and companies across the world. Tesla's impact was different. It helped change what millions of consumers expected an electric car to be. Before Tesla's rise, electric vehicles were often treated as compromises. After cars such as the Model S and Model 3 became successful, automakers could no longer easily dismiss EVs as a tiny niche. Tesla demonstrated that an electric vehicle could offer strong acceleration, longer range, advanced software, and desirable design. It also pushed ideas such as over-the-air software updates and large-scale fast-charging infrastructure further into the automotive conversation. Competitors responded. Major manufacturers invested billions of dollars into electric vehicles and batteries. At the same time, Chinese companies became increasingly powerful competitors in the global EV market. Tesla had helped accelerate the race. But being an industry disruptor doesn't mean being free from criticism. Tesla has faced scrutiny over vehicle quality, workplace practices, its marketing and naming of driver assistance systems, and crashes involving vehicles using those technologies. Names such as autopilot and full self-driving have also created controversy over how drivers understand the system's actual capabilities. And this reveals an important lesson about innovation. Moving quickly can create breakthroughs. But when your products operate on public roads, safety, reliability, and responsible communication matter enormously. Tesla's story also became increasingly connected to Elon Musk himself. His personality helped attract enormous attention to the company. Sometimes that attention benefited Tesla. At other times, his public statements and controversies created risks for the brand. This makes Tesla an unusual business story. For many people, separating the company from its CEO became almost impossible. So what happens next? Nobody knows with certainty. Tesla continues working on vehicles, batteries, energy storage, artificial intelligence, robotics, and autonomous driving technology. Competition is stronger than it once was, and the electric vehicle industry continues changing rapidly. Tesla may lead some parts of that future and struggle in others. But whatever happens next, its historical influence is already significant. A company that began in 2003 with an ambitious idea helped force one of the world's oldest and largest industries to take electric vehicles much more seriously. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson from Tesla's story. Innovation isn't simply about having a futuristic idea. It's about surviving long enough to make that idea real. Tesla nearly disappeared. It missed targets, made mistakes, changed leaders, faced production crises, and attracted enormous criticism. Yet it also helped change expectations about what a modern car could be. The future of transportation won't belong to one company. But Tesla helped accelerate the journey toward that future. And that, more than any stock price or headline, may ultimately be its most important legacy.